Welcome to my channel, Black Knight Scary. I'm so glad you found me. Please make sure to leave a like on the video as it helps my channel grow and reach more viewers. Enjoy the fresh content and subscribe now. And remember to click that notification bell so you don't miss a thing in the future. To have your story featured on an upcoming video, email the link in the description box below. Thank you for listening. Sit back, relax, and enjoy these truly terrifying Appalachian Trail horror stories. For tonight's video, we make our way back into the deep woods. Story number 1. The Appalachian Trail had always been my escape, a verdant ribbon of solitude winding through ancient mountains. This time it was Liam and I, 20-somethings chasing the horizon, trading city stress for pine-scented air and the crunch of leaves under our boots. For the first week, it was everything we'd hoped for. Breathtaking sunrises, challenging climbs, and the quiet camaraderie of two friends lost in the wild. Then, things started to shift. It began subtly, with a feeling of being watched. You'd dismiss it as trail paranoia, a trick of the mind in the vastness, but it persisted. I'd catch myself glancing over my shoulder, convinced I'd just seen a flicker of movement between the trees, a shadow that wasn't quite right. Liam, always more grounded, laughed it off at first. "Too many horror movies, Mark," he'd joke. The first tangible sign was the symbols, carved into trees just off the official path. They were crude, unsettling marks, jagged lines forming unsettling squares or a twisted spiral. We saw perhaps 3 over the course of a day. Liam suggested they were just old trail markers or bored hikers, but they felt different, malevolent. The air grew heavy, almost oppressive. The usual symphony of the forest, chirping birds, rustling squirrels, seemed too quiet, replaced by an unnatural hush. One evening, camped by a small stream, a faint low hum drifted through the trees. It wasn't the wind nor an animal. It was a rhythmic, almost hypnotic sound, like distant harmonized chanting. Liam heard it too this time. His face was pale in the dying light of the fire. "What the hell is that?" he whispered, clutching the hunting knife he usually kept sheathed. The sound faded as mysteriously as it came, leaving us in a tense silence. We packed up early the next morning, a gnawing unease in our guts. The trail felt less like an escape and more like a trap. The symbols were more frequent now, sometimes painted in dark reddish pigment like dried blood. And the feeling of being watched was no longer a fleeting sensation. It was a constant weight, like invisible eyes boring into our backs. We'd been hiking for hours, the trail narrowing into a tunnel of dense rhododendron, when we heard them. Footsteps, not our own, not an animal. Heavy rhythmic thuds, many of them, coming from behind us off the trail. They were closing in. "They're following us," Liam choked out, his voice raw with terror. It's those people." Panic seized us. We broke into a run, our heavy packs bouncing, branches whipping our faces. The trail turned steep, rocky. Every breath burned in my lungs. The thudding grew louder, closer, interspersed with the rustle of leaves as they matched our pace, flanking us through the undergrowth. I glimpsed movement, dark, shapeless figures, just shadows in the dappled light, but unmistakably human, or what passed for it. "We need to get off this trail," I yelled, veering into the trees, Liam right behind me. We crashed through thickets, scrambled over downed logs, our desperate flight guided by pure instinct. The woods were a confusing, disorienting maze. Every shadow seemed to hold a lurking figure, every rustle of leaves a pursuer. Then I heard it, a guttural shout closer than ever. I risked a glance back. Liam was a few paces behind me, his face a mask of primal fear. Suddenly he stumbled, his foot catching on a root. He went down hard, his pack rolling off. "Liam!" I screamed, turning back, but it was too late. Dark figures, swift and silent as ghosts, burst from the trees. There were at least 5 of them, cloaked in dark, rough fabric, their faces obscured by deep hoods. They moved with an unsettling fluidity, converging on Liam. His scream tore through the forest, a sound of pure, unadulterated terror and pain. It was cut short, abruptly, horribly. I saw a flash of movement, something being clamped over his mouth. Then he was swallowed by the dark shapes. My mind reeled. I wanted to help, to fight, but my body wouldn't obey. The sheer number of them, their chilling efficiency, paralyzed me. Another figure, taller than the rest, detached itself from the group and turned its hooded face towards me. I couldn't see eyes, but I felt them. A cold, empty gaze that promised unspeakable horrors. A silent command. Fear, cold and absolute, propelled me forward. I ran as I had never run before, not caring where I was going, only away. I ran until my lungs burned, until my legs screamed, until the sounds of the chase faded into the background static of my own ragged breathing. I ran until the sun dipped below the peaks and darkness shrouded the woods. Eventually collapsing in a ditch, shivering, sobbing, lost. I don't know how long I lay there, numb with terror, before the first faint lights of a distant road pierced the trees. I stumbled out of the woods hours later, a ragged, mud-caked phantom, babbling incoherent stories to the first bewildered driver I flagged down. The police searched. They found our campsite, our abandoned packs. They found the strange symbols carved into the trees, but they found no trace of Liam. Not a footprint, not a discarded item, not a single witness who saw anything out of the ordinary. They classified it as a missing person case, perhaps a tragic accident, a fall, an animal attack. They looked at me with pity, perhaps suspicion, as if my wild tales of cloaked figures and cults were the ramblings of a man unhinged by the wilderness. It's been months now. Liam is gone, vanished. The trail, once a place of peace, is now a symbol of abduction, of a chilling unseen network that preys on the isolated. I see those dark shadows in my sleep, hear Liam's cut-off screams. I know what happened. I know they took him, and I don't. And I know deep down that he's still out there, somewhere beyond the reach of law or reason, lost forever, to the silent, hooded figures of the Appalachian woods. And sometimes, late at night, I swear I can still hear the faint, low hum of their distant chant carried on in the wind. Story number 2. The last rays of sun bled out of the sky, painting the ancient trees in shades of bruised purple and charcoal. I was deep in the belly of the Appalachian Trail, utterly alone and cursing my decision to push a few extra miles. My tent was pitched hastily, the nylon a flimsy membrane against the encroaching darkness. Exhaustion was a heavy cloak, but the deep quiet of the forest felt less peaceful, more watchful. I was almost asleep when the first sound came, a crisp snag of a twig, too heavy for a squirrel, too deliberate for the wind. My eyes flickered open. Then a low, throaty chuckle echoed from the trees to my left. It was distant, but undeniably human. Not the light-hearted sounds of hikers sharing a joke around a campfire, but something colder, more predatory. I pulled my sleeping bag tighter, rationalizing it was a group of late-night campers. But it was far too quiet for a group. The laughter came again, closer this time, from behind me, then from the right. It wasn't continuous, just sporadic bursts, always moving, always circling. Sometimes it was accompanied by a soft rustle, a dragging sound, like something being pulled through the underbrush. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat in the oppressive silence between the sounds. Sleep became an impossible dream. Every rustle of leaves, every distant hoot of an owl morphed into something sinister. I lay rigid, straining my ears, my breath hitched in my throat. Hours crawled by, each minute an eternity of terror. The laughter intensified, growing into a low, guttural murmur that seemed to fill the forest, pressing in on my tent. It sounded like more than one voice now, hushed and conspiratorial, just beyond the thin fabric. I could almost feel their presence, a chill seeping through the ground pad. My body trembled uncontrollably, a primal fear seizing me. Then the sound ceased. An absolute suffocating silence descended, heavier than anything I'd ever known. My mind screamed at me to brace myself, There was a slow, deliberate shuffle just outside my tent door. A shadow darker than night itself pressed against the nylon. My breath hitched, and then a voice, dry, raspy whisper, right next to my ear as if the canvas didn't even exist. "Gonna kill you." The air left my lungs in a silent gasp. I lay there, a statue carved from pure, unadulterated fear. Unable to move, unable to scream, listening to the deafening silence that followed. Waiting for the rip, the tear, the inevitable end. Story number 3. The crackle of my campfire was the only sound for miles, deep in the Appalachian wilderness. Alone for days, I'd found a rhythm with the trail, the solitude a comforting blanket. I was stirring my meager dinner when a shadow detached itself from the impenetrable black of the woods opposite me. A man stood there, just stood. There had been no rustle of leaves, no snapping twigs, no telltale hum of a human approach. He was simply present, a gaunt silhouette against the firelight. My heart hammered. "Evening," I managed, my voice a pathetic squeak. He didn't reply. His eyes, though, were fixed on me, reflecting the flames with an intensity that felt unnatural. They didn't blink, and then he smiled. It was a slow, deliberate stretching of his lips, revealing teeth that seemed too large, too white. The smile didn't reach his eyes. Those remained cold, unblinking, just tracking my every breath. He wasn't breathing himself, at least not that I could discern. His ragged clothes hung still as if painted on. That smile widened, inch by agonizing inch, until it felt like it consumed his entire face, a silent predatory grin. The forest held its breath. I knew with a primal certainty that I was no longer alone, and the thing that had appeared at my campfire was not merely a lost hiker. It had found what it was looking for. Thank you guys for watching and listening to this video until the very end. Please make sure to subscribe and leave a like, comment, and share this video as well. If you would like to have one of your true scary experiences featured on an upcoming video, email the link in the description box below. And like I always say, stay safe out there.